Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, at last, Army confirms coup plot against Tinubu. Sowore risks jail with leaked court proceedings. Soludo versus Anambra traders will also be one of our topics for today. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop a question to the comment section. It's also important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade Otutoju. Good to see you, Mikhail.
Good to see you, Brian. I'm going to do this with you. And I say a big thank you to our viewers for being faithful with us through the years.
Absolutely. Okay, let's start off with the story of the coup, because in recent days, the Nigerian Defense Headquarters publicly acknowledged that a faction of military officers plotted to overthrow President Bola Tinubu's government, an admission that came after months of denials and speculations. Then we heard that 16 officers had to be tried before a military court for alleged indiscipline and planning to overthrow the constitutional order. BKO, given Nigeria's history with coups from the 1960s to the early 1990s, how significant is it that Defense Headquarters is acknowledging this now? And what does this say about Tinubu's civilian control over the armed forces?
Well, I think that it was unfortunate that they didn't come clean to Nigerians. It was unfortunate that they didn't tell Nigerians the whole truth and nothing but the truth. What was going on was that the soldiers were arrested for acts of indiscipline and all that. But we have seen now that what the military described as rumors were actually true. So I hope that in future they will be more accountable and they will let Nigerians know the truth rather than sending a dummy to fellow Nigerians. When in actual fact, the story that was reported, the story that was on the lips of many Nigerians was actually true. Many Nigerians were apprehensive. Many of them were worried because when you look at some of our neighbors, they are being ruled by military rulers. It has become more like a fad in West Africa for civilian regimes to be toppled and for them to be replaced by martial rule. And after the 2023 elections, some misguided Nigerians who had never seen military rule before were actually rooting for military rule. Some of them sheepishly went to the defense headquarters to plead that the military should take over. We also saw some Nigerians during the August process waving the flag of the foreign country and demanding for military rule. This is not what we want to see. Nigerians who have faced military rule before know that the worst civilian regime is better than military rule. They know that even during the military rules, no one is safe. Even their own colleagues are not safe. Between 1966 and 1999, we had military regimes, military coups. January 15, 1966, we had military coup, followed by another one on July 29, 1966, Then July 29, 1975, February 13, 1976, December 31st, 1983, August 27, 1985, April 22, 1990, that's the Coup, and then November 17, 1993, when Sani Abacha overthrew the lame duck Enesonekon interim national government and supplanted him by himself. So with some of our neighbors already being ruled by the military, people were apprehensive about the story of this coup. But now the military have come out to tell us that indeed their findings showed that some officers tried to overthrow the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Back then, when the story broke, they told us that, oh, these were just acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. But we have seen now that the rumors actually were true. They acknowledge that they have actually arrested 16 persons who will go before the military judicial panel, which is also called martial. They will be tried for trying to topple the government and elected government. Now, the worry for many Nigerians is that more than 16 persons were arrested. Some people are still being arrested as we speak. So how many people are they going to put on trial in the final analysis? The information released to Nigerians is not cast in stone. We could see more people being put on trial. But one thing is certain, they have already submitted the report of their investigation to the president, and they will go ahead with the trial of these officers. From the information available to me, the coup will have been bloody. In fact, it was said that the top 4 rulers, the top 4 leaders of our country would have been killed. That is the president, VP, Senate president, and the Speaker of the House of Reps. There were people that they were actually targeting to kill. It was said that the first, from their plans, they were supposed to strike during the passing out parade of the Nigerian Defense Academy. During that period, the president would have been hit, and some of the people around him would also have been killed. But they didn't strike during the passing out parade of the NDA. They then decided to move it forward and then strike at Eagle Square. But in the end, that also didn't happen because there was a leak of their plans. The president even stayed away from the event. So in any case, the president was their primary target, will have escaped because he did not attend that event. So nothing happened on the day. What I can say at this point, as somebody who witnessed a number of military coups and even reported military coups, is that this is purely a military affair. Civilians should not get involved. They should allow the military to sort out their issues by themselves. All we can demand for is that there should be greater vigilance. There should be heightened vigilance to ensure that Nigerians do not see military rule again. Some of us lost our friends, we lost our loved ones. Journalists were targeted and killed, and we do not want that to happen again. It is understandable when young people ask for military rule because they never witnessed it, so they don't even know what it entails. They do not know that some of, if not most of the freedom that they are enjoying now will be taken away in the event of a military takeover. They do not know that at all. So, but at least those who know, those who have witnessed military rule, know how dangerous it is to our country, know that it's of no value to our country. Even their own high-flying colleagues are never safe because they always target one another, lie against one another in the name of military, and then find an opportunity to put some people on trial. 1995, there was no coup, but they told Nigerians that there was a coup. It was the opportunity to get out of the system some of the people that they do not like. Even Olusegun Obasanjo was lied against, accused of plotting a coup, and they didn't have any evidence whatsoever. So Nigerians, or Nigeria as a country, dodged the bullets with this revelation and with the way the military moved to arrest those who are planning a bloody coup. There's no doubt if we want to kill the president and the people are next in line to him, their military aides, their security operatives will stand up to the coupists, which will worsen the bloodletting. So Nigeria dodged the bullet. We do not want to see military rule again. Absolutely. If it is happening around us, it must not get to us. So, and we expect the military to be more transparent next time in communicating with Nigerians. They should not put our people in the dark. They should let us know what exactly happened. And people will be interested in also knowing what transpires in the course of their trial.
Afterwards, that's right. The Thomas Egbele says we cannot afford to be ruled by virtual dictatorship again. The panacea to the attempts to overthrow civilian government is good governance. If Tinubu had been clueless, the story would have been different. And also we have Chinedu Okafor saying Nigerian coups have a long history. The real shock is not that there was a plot. It is that they admitted it. Amina Bello says, I give the military credit for coming clean. Democracy survives when institutions speak up, not hide things. Tunde Adebayo says, so for months, it was rumors. Now it's confirmed. Nigerians deserve to know what's changed. And Sadiq Lawal says, if officers are plotting coups in 2026, then someone somewhere is not doing enough warfare-wise. Okay, so BKO, before we change our line of thought, historically, let me just quickly squeeze this question in. Historically, Nigeria has endured coups, as you said, when civilian oversight was weak. Are we seeing echoes of those periods, or is this situation truly different? And what lessons should current leaders and civil society draw from past military interventions in politics, if you can do that quickly?
Yes, there has to be vigilance. There has to be serving delivery. Yes, some military coups were the results of overzealousness on the part and greed for power on the part of the soldiers. But it is important to give good governance because that will make a military coup unpopular. But when there's bad governance, there will be people who will be asking for military rule, especially people who have not witnessed it. A lot of our young people did not witness military. So if they're asking for it, they can be excused. No, they don't know what they're asking. So, and then eternal vigilance is described as the price of liberty. Nobody should say, oh, military rule cannot happen or that military cannot take over. All we need to do is make sure that we block all the avenues that the enemies of the Nigerian state can exploit. Once we block those avenues, we know that we are safe. Those of us who witnessed military rule, lost our friends, almost lost our lives, we don't want to see anything like that again. So
That's right.
but everyone has to be vigilant. Everyone has to play its part. The government must play its part, provide good governance, so that some of the restiveness that we are witnessing, even in the military, some of the rumblings will not happen. And then
Absolutely.
the intelligence officers in the military must continue the hard work. If they had not worked hard, the story will have been different. So we encourage them to continue to give their best, sniff out whatever strain of coup plotting that is still in the system. We have to snuff it out at this time so that we can have democracy, which I believe is much better than military. They can continue to have it and they can continue to deliver good governance.
Absolutely. Right. So let's change tack by looking at Omoyele Sowore. He's an activist, publisher, and perennial thorn in the side of successive Nigerian governments. He's now back in the spotlight. Beyond his ongoing cyber defamation trial over posts alleging wrongdoing by President Tinubu, a new controversy has emerged around leaked court footage that may expose security officers and potentially violate national security laws. PKO, from legal perspective, why is safeguarding judicial integrity and controlling sensitive information so crucial in a democracy in the light of the stories, the revelations around Omoyele Sowore, the recent incident?
I think that Sowore has to be careful. He is evidently fighting above his weight category. The law is what it is. Whether you are in Nigeria or you are abroad, you must obey the laws of the land. Recording the evidence of a prosecution witness in open court by defendants or his agents and releasing or circulating same without the leave or order of the court, especially at a time like this, attracts serious legal consequences in our country. And that position is grounded in statute, the inherent powers of the court, and settled principles of content of court. As a general rule, nobody is permitted to report audio, video, otherwise, or proceedings without the permission of the court. The courts are non-public theaters. Openness of proceedings of a court does not translate to the license to report and publish proceedings at will. Courts in our country generally operate under practice directions and long-standing judicial practice that prohibits video recording, live streaming of proceedings, except with the permission of the court. So a defendant who secretly or openly records evidence without leave has acted unlawfully. Even where the proceedings are public, publication of court proceedings in a manner capable of intimidating witnesses or prejudicing case is unlawful. Especially where the proceedings are selectively edited, released out of context, or circulated to deceive or ridicule. So it goes beyond mere recording, it becomes interference with the administration of justice. And what usually happens where this is done is contempt of court. So I won't be surprised if the court deems Omoyele Sowore to have been guilty to have infringed the law as it has to do with content of court. Because that is the way they see it. He must have used the security camera. He must have used the security camera to secretly report the proceedings of the court. That is untenable. That is unacceptable. I am not the judge, but as a journalist, I covered the judiciary right up to the Supreme Court. And this sort of thing has never happened. I'm not aware that somebody is permitted to report or secretly report the proceedings of the court. I'm trying to see the position of the law on this. The proper judicial position, I'm trying to read it. A defendant, and it says, a defendant who records the evidence of a prosecution witness in court without leave and releases same without an order of court, particularly to deceive or mislead, acts in breach of the law and is liable for contempt of court and related sanctions. The recording of proceedings in this court, I'm quoting now, the recording of proceedings in this court without leave and subsequent publication thereof without the authority of the court, particularly in a manner calculated to mislead the public or interfere with the due administration of justice, constitutes contempt of court. The court will not permit its proceedings to be subjected to such abuse. This is the position of the Supreme Court. And once that is established, the law is clear. What has happened may also constitute interference with witnesses, which is a criminal offense under general criminal law principles and recognized under the administration of criminal justice, or under the ACTA 2015 framework on protection of witnesses and trial. So, and fair trial. So it is clear that even the Supreme Court is very clear on it. The Supreme Court held that any act that ends to scandalize the court, intimidate witnesses, prejudice pending proceedings, or obstruct justice amounts to contempt, or any acts of intimidation or interference with witnesses, if the recording is released to ridicule, harass, intimidate, or discourage prosecution witness. The act may also constitute interference with witnesses, which is a criminal offense. So, as I said earlier, the act of releasing the recording after court hours is contempt outside the face of the court. So, I am not the judge handling Sowore's case, but I believe that he needs to take things easy because some of his actions suggest that he's being unnecessarily reckless. You can still prosecute your case and win your case without going to the length that he's going. You can secretly come into a court with a secret camera, record the proceedings of the court, and then go and use it on social media. It's not done even abroad, even in the US, where
that's right.
That we still describe as the things of democracy. They don't do this kind of things.
Yeah.
They don't do this kind of things.
Absolutely.
So he has to take this easy. He should stop taking unnecessary risks. And calling the president a criminal when no court of law in our country has convicted him, no court abroad has convicted him. A civil conviction does not constitute criminal conviction. You know? So it does not constitute conviction. Yet you call him a criminal. You are citing what somebody else said, when that same person has already taken back what he said. How can that be your own defense? I don't understand.
That's right.
If you have his issues with the president and other people, he's free to criticize the president. But I don't think it's right to take a secret camera into the court and record his proceedings and then proceed to post. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. That's why I'm saying that he's taking undue risk. You know,
interesting.
I don't know what he wants to achieve. He's already famous, so I cannot say he's doing it because he wants to gain more popularity. But nobody should take unnecessary risks. It's not. It's meaningless to take unnecessary risks.
That's right. Thomas Egbele says on Sowore, it is up to the government and all Nigerians to shout at the devil by telling Sowore that enough is enough. Rascality is not synonymous with respectability. It deserves some sanction, no matter small. Feyo J says the Ministry of Justice needs to charge Omoyele Sowore for what he has done. He can't do that in New Jersey, where he's live. He lives where he lives before moving to Nigeria. Nelson Adufe says Sowore should be arrested, remanded for several months. Under the law, he be charged with necessary criminal charges. We can't allow a failure to continually present himself as presidential candidate yearly. Okay, let's move on to the other conversation, and this has to do with the Soludo versus the Anambra traders. In Anambra, Governor Charles Soludo's controversial move to close the Onitsha main market, citing traders' continued compliance with Monday sit-at-home directives, has triggered a standoff with market stakeholders. To begin, Governor Soludo, ordering the one-week closure of the Onitsha market. How do you think the state justifies such an extreme measure in light of its responsibility to protect livelihood?
So I do not blame the governor for taking this action. According to the governor, he had pleaded with them for years. He had appealed to them for years. But the main market traders refused. This is a market that is described as the largest in West Africa. The governor's argument has always been that the state loses billions of naira every time the market is shut. And so those arguments is okay. How come markets in other states of the Southeast are open on Mondays, but in Anambra State, the market must not? So the governor just said that, look, this shameful sit-at-home has to end. And as far as it's concerned, even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who instituted the sit-at-home in the first place, no longer supports it. And I agree, because already Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had said there should only be sit-at-home. And initially it said there should only be sit-at-home the day that is taken to court. Later on, some traditional rulers and the late senator, Ifeanyi Uba, went to see him in DSS custody, and he agreed to totally renounce the sit-at-home order. He now said, oh, this thing is counter productive, it's destroying the economy of the Southeast. So I don't even want it anymore. So even Nnamdi Kanu himself said, look, let's put an end to sit-at-home. Why would some traders in Anambra State insist that it has to go on? So the governor just said that, okay, he had had enough, and that the people, the traders are grown so accustomed to resting on Mondays. They spend those Mondays gathering at drinking, at pubs and simply drinking beer. So the governor, felt, look, this must not continue. A market where traders come all the way from Ghana, Togo, and Benin Republic to buy goods in good quantity, to buy goods in bulk, was already losing its purpose. So, for that reason, the governor said, no, if they do not agree to come out on Monday and open the market, then he's going to close it for a whole month. But this is a market where some people depend on that market for their daily pay. So if there's not, if some people do not go to the market in a day, they lose money. So the government felt he was fighting for such people. According to him, those enforcing the sit at home are even likely not from Anambra City. So the governor viewed this as pure economic sabotage, something that he had to do something about. And listening to him, said we must operate a fully 5 or 6 day business week. And what frightened the traders was his position that the government holds the authority to revoke land allocation under the Land Use Act if it serves the public interest. So after all the brouhaha, the chairman of the Onitsha main market traders, Chijoke Opalugo, pledged that they will begin Monday operations in line with the vision of the government. But he also pleaded that the government should be proactive, give them security to protect traders and customers. If they can achieve this, it will be a very significant development. Because already in Enugu, people go to work on Mondays. Monday is significant for the traders from the southeast because that is the day that they like to open their containers. But this sit at home is making some traders to divert their businesses to states, neighboring states like Akwa Ibom, Delta, and the rest. And there's no way a governor like Soludo, who wants to make much more money from internally generated revenue, will be happy to see this kind of thing continue. So I'm not surprised that he took this extreme action, so that they can put an name to this thing at home. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's a big threat to the economy of the Southeast. So the governor just said, look, this has to stop. So we are eager now to see what happens on Monday. It's just 2 days away. Let us see what happens on Monday. The governor, as far as concerned, that there should be no selective sit at home. And the market is too critical for the traders to not go to work on Monday or any day for that matter.
Absolutely. Right. Let me take some comments. We have Atere saying that disclosure is based on the need to know information and can't be disclosed until every facts are investigated. Thomas Egbele says Soludo is absolutely right to declare undue closure of the market as illegal. No government should watch while people are holding its economy by the jugulars. His government must adopt measures to provide security. And Nelson says, has governor provided adequate security in case there is an attack? If yes, the governor should prove to the traders with security in place. Trader not opening on Mondays be banned from trading. We also have other comments. Ifunaya Okeke says, closing the market won't stop fear. Security on the roads will. Chukwudi Eze, governor is right. You can't keep the economy hostage forever. Marianne Nwankwo says, easy to talk from government house. Traders are the ones risking their lives. And Uche Obi saying, Soludo is thinking long term. Anambra can't develop with weekly shutdowns. Biko, the concern here is largely based on security. And there are some others who are saying that um, well, they'll just go on Mondays. Um, they'll fill in their name in the register. They'll open their shop, leave it open, and then go back home. And when it's time for closing, they will come back and lock the shop. They've marked attendance on for that Monday, and then they resume normal duty on Tuesday. But other commentators are saying their concern is largely on security. That how assuredly as the governor, I mean, how much assurance has the governor given the people of Anambra to attend or to actually open their shops on Mondays, especially with these guys that can strike at any time without any prior notice? What do you say regarding the security of things?
I think that our people must not be captive of fear. But when the people become captive of fear, all of these issues that are sometimes exaggerated will continue to haunt them. I joined others to interview Governor Soludo on a Sunday. The following day, we traveled in the morning to Enugu. We drove through that road to Enugu. So take a flight to Lagos. Nothing happened to us. I just had the feeling that, look, let us travel, let's go by road. So we traveled from Oka all the way to Enugu. Nothing happened to us. The governor of Enugu State, from the beginning, he said he will not allow this to sit at us. And he implemented that policy. Markets open on Mondays in Enugu State. Markets open. So the people themselves need to come out of their shell. Some time ago, support for this state at home was organic. But the moment Nnamdi Kanu himself said, look, we are not interested in sit at home anymore. After Eze Chukwuemeka Obugad went to see him and some other highly placed people, he said, no more sit at home for me. So who are the people who are more Catholic than the Pope who are now insisting, cultists, non-state actors who are now insisting that people should sit at home? When the person who instituted the idea is no longer interested in it. So this is concern for me. We can't continue like this. Why should schools open on Saturdays in Anambra State just to make up for the fact that on Monday they didn't open? So it takes determination. It takes political will on the part of the governor to say, look, enough is enough. And the governor said that they will provide security. So if he will provide security for the traders, I believe that the traders have no reason to not go to work on Mondays. They have to find a way to end this sit at home, because it's destroying the economy of the Southeast.
Right. Interesting. And we have Abdurrahman Sadiq saying this is less about punishment and more about authority. Pascal Ofor says dialogue would have worked better than sealing shops. Rita Ogbuefi, Monday sit at home has turned from protest to economic self-harm. And both sides, I mean, Victor Anayo saying that both sides are right and both sides are wrong. All right, BKO, you're actually in transit, and then we need to let you go. A final
So,
word. I believe
those
that
who
we'll
say
have you back in
that
Nigeria.
dialogue will have worked, the governor said he has been begging them for 4 years. So he's been appealing to them that, look, this thing should not continue. I will provide the security that we need. But they didn't listen. But now the same people have said, okay, we are ready to go to work on Mondays if we will provide security. Security has been guiding the market now. At least 150 security operatives guiding the market since the governor shut it. So I believe that the same way that sit-at-home fails in Enugu markets, if the people of Anambra are determined to put an end to it, it will happen. It will happen.
That's right. We'll see what happens. Monday is just around the corner. We wish everyone at the nature markets, safe markets. We wish that they all stay alive, and I wish them happy selling and more sales.
Yes.
You're actually in transit, and I believe that we'll be having you back in Nigeria any moment now, BKO.
Yes. Thank you. I had
Absolutely.
a busy time in Kenya. Yeah, I attended the training, and I'm happy to leave Kenya to come home.
Absolutely. We can't wait to have you back. See you. May you have safe landing back to Nigeria.
Thank you.
That's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade Otutoju, for those insightful analyses, as always, BKO. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you to our esteemed viewers. I had to do this in the airport, but it's fine.
Absolutely.
It's so important to do the show, no matter the situation and place where we find ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, BKO. And thank you to our audience for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program anytime, again, by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. We're also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.